Hi, my name is Chaz Pierce, and I am here today to tell you about some really exciting benefit options for 2023. Let me go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen with you right now and we'll get rolling. Okay, so I'm recording this video for you to play at any time you'd like. So these are some great benefit moves you can make. First, a little bit about my company. So I have 30 years experience in the insurance industry, primarily in sales management. Some familiar companies, brands to you would be Allstate Health Solutions, Cigna, and Baylor Scott and White. So over this time, I have developed a very big professional network. I've handled territories as large as the third of the state of Texas, a third of the United States, working with thousands of brokers and thousands of groups. So what I have done is assembled a group of like-minded subject matter experts who also hold themselves to fiduciary ethical standards where we do what's best for the client. So a little bit about this presentation. So there's going to be some new ideas in here, and new ideas are often very slow to get to market. You'll notice some of the dates in this. You'll be, wow, I've never heard that, and it's been out for a long time. So you won't hear a lot of this stuff from others. The stuff is slow to get to market. If you think about brokers, they just get happy with the status quo and they don't want to change things. They don't want to learn new things. And so they just truck on and don't bother trying to add things to their game plan. There are a multitude of options out there to be able to save and optimize your employee benefits. And I think you'll find something here for everyone. But if you think about like Olympic rings and how some of them overlap, that's kind of the stuff that employers need is a full set of Olympic rings. And a lot of times a broker only brings like one or two of those rings to the equation. Okay, first employee benefits discussion here is going to be on the financial wellness workshop. These workshops started in Michigan, and if you think about the very large companies that are located up there, you probably drive or have driven one of the products from these companies in the last few years. Also, they've been installed in universities and state government, etc. So what this is not a sales pitch. There is a big appetite for unbiased advice, and for groups of 25 and above, there is an after-hours informative, instructor-led workshop that allows these employees to unlock deferred decisions. So they will come out of there with some action items, the things that they know they need to work on. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's they need to have medical powers of attorney on adult children or what have you. They will come out with a priority list, and it can also be customized to fit your employee benefits. So this particular item was rated #1 by Best Money Moves in 2021 as a great employee benefit. So next thing is Affordable Care Act plans for what we call small groups or groups of 2 to 50 employees. And basically what we can do now is you can let Uncle Sam pay for health care. So if you think about your typical small group out there of 10 employees, that the employer is paying $500 per employee for the cost of their coverage, and that's $5,000 every month or $60,000 a year. And actually, there may be more money available for these employees than the employer's even spending here. So I direct you to the grid here below, and this is a sample rate for 2023. And if you have someone that has a family income of 75,000, they can actually get their health insurance paid for by tax credits, and it costs them nothing. If they make 100,000, their cost would be $116 a month. There's over $1,000 tax credit. At 150, you can see it starts to get about equal. At 200,000, there's still $276 tax credits, and they kind of phase out when you get up to around 225,000 of income. So this is something that you can do for small groups only, and you can utilize the tax credits and then repurpose the funds that you are saving now into some other form of benefits. Now, if you're a group of over 50, it's really all about compliance. Brokers are now required to disclose any compensation, and you may want to consider moving to a fee-based consultant and utilize some of the dollars there. So there are programs out there that can do a compliance check for you. Just let me know if you need something in that side, in that front. So this is another program here that has come down market again from the jumbo groups, and it is a cash pay medical plan. So if you think about, like, sometimes if you go to the chiropractor, they'll say, hey, here's our price if you just pay us cash, and here's our price if we're going to file it with your insurance. Well, it's the same thing for other providers, and basically 25% of every dollar that's spent in healthcare is utilized for just simply administration. Watching, the amounts that are paid by the insurance and crediting everything in computer systems and just the back and forth, it takes a lot of time, and there's administrative costs to that. So this plan was actually designed by physicians to be super efficient on them, so therefore they're willing to offer their cash price. So if you think like PayPal, you've got instant payments happen all the time now. That's what we can do for these providers, pay them cash on the spot, and then thereby lowering the spend for the employer group insurance. So this tends to land about 20% lower than traditional, and the employees love it because they can get a zero deductible, zero out of pocket. Again, this has got a similar group size of 25 employees for this. All right, the next thing that a lot of people have yet to hear about is called an individual contribution HRA. So ICRA is the word that we call it. So this was signed by President Trump, and it's an executive order that was signed in 2019, and it was first available in 2020, but most people haven't heard of it. You can use this on any size company. It does kind of fit a little bit better in the larger group because of what I just explained. But basically, the employer puts up a set of dollars that can then be used to purchase individual plans. There is an affordability line of, don't call 911, call 912, so 912% that you have to take into account. And there can be many combinations of employers and employees in this, with, who's on salary, who's getting paid by the hour, who's management, etc. So there's a lot of different combinations. We have to do what's called a feasibility analysis around the payroll to find the right mix to make sure you're in compliance and make sure that the plan all works properly. But the benefits are the cost is you can fit your budget, that you don't have to worry about any sort of percentage requirement that the carrier can mandate on you. You don't have to meet participation requirements. You're in control of those renewals. So, your $500 rate went up to $600, and most people just don't have many choices when it comes to having to do that, other than maybe changing their deductible, decreasing the plan. But this puts the dollars in control to the employer. They may say, $500 is it. We've had a bad year. We're not notching that up a penny, and you get to be in control of that. And then typically in a group, you have just one company to choose from, maybe a couple of plans within there. But with this, you have full access to everything that's on the market for these individuals to use. All right, so if you're going to make changes to the health plan, you also need to consider what to do on the supplemental side. So you have to remember that the whole purpose of doing employee benefits in the first place is to attract and retain employees. Number one reason why companies offer benefits. So there, in the supplemental space, there are a couple of different ways that that can work. You can do what's called employer paid and just have the employer provide it. You can do what's called voluntary, where the employees purchase out of their own paycheck the coverages on a pre-tax basis, and they get a little more value because they're getting it at a group basis as opposed to in the individual market. There's also options where you can share the cost between the employer and the employee. And there's something new that I'll be showing you in a minute where tax credits can pay for health insurance. So the big four that most companies want to offer to their employees are life insurance, health, disability, and retirement plans. There was also a study by Harvard Business Review that ranked these three as the most commonly requested by employees, which are healthcare, dental, and vision. So that new plan that I was telling you about, this originated in 2010, and it was part of the Affordable Care Act. It was just written up January of 2021 in the Accounting Journal as a viable option for employee benefits. And basically, it's you trade some tax dollars out for use it or lose it dollars to purchase supplemental benefits. So on average in Texas, we see about $150 per month per employee to spend in benefits. Now, if someone earns more, they're going to have more to spend. If they earn less, they're going to have less to spend. On top of that, the employer is going to save about $600 per employee in matching FICA. So in order to be eligible for this, you cannot be eligible for the tax credit health plans or Medicaid, Medicare, those kind of things. So this is their way of extending this out to employees of companies. So you implement the special wellness program, which then triggers you to be eligible for this other stuff. So I could spend a whole hour on this alone. And if you want to look into it, we will need to do a full-blown analysis using a payroll report. All right, then when it comes to your basic business insurance, so a lot of employers, especially small ones, they run into certain requirements that they have to meet, you know, because of a minimum mandated from a lender or from a landlord or state minimum auto. But what you really need to do is a proper analysis and to make sure you and your business are protected. So you want to make sure you're protected against lawsuits, your property. Of course, if you have vehicles out on the road, your employees are protected with workman's comp, or if you want to be a non-subscriber, that you take the proper steps to be a non-subscriber. If you're in the advice or if you have any kind of specialty things, there's a number of things that can be factors in any business, you know, theft from employees, etc. It needs a full-blown good workup if you've never done one before about your business. All right, so another way that you can spend some of these dollars that we're saving here is to do some succession planning. So in essence, you've done your life's work, you've put your heart and soul into your business, and you don't want to see that get diminished or disappear entirely if something happens, if you were to die or something like that, or just decide to retire. So you may want to cash out, you may want to pass it on. You may want to do some additional executive bonuses with those savings, make sure key employees are covered so that your business is protected. So this is the kind of thing that's probably not as urgent that needs to be done, but you know, maybe a good New Year's resolution or something. And finally, just want to thank you for your attention and offer you a QR code. You can put some information in about any of these items, and we can reach out to you, explain further. You're welcome to give me a call or an email as well. Thank you so much, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.